any other lesson you take out of this video, it is to not let fear guide your decisions. Hey guys, Tiffany Ofili Porter here, where I discuss all things life after sport. In this video, I am going to show you how to get your Sisterlocks curly. I am going to show you how I install pipe cleaners to achieve a curly look, and I'm going to just walk you through the process. In this video, I'm also going to make it a little bit of a story time. I'm going to give you guys the tea on how I really feel about watching the Olympics coming up. Let's just jump right into the video. I washed my hair earlier today because I knew I had a braid out that was in from 3 weeks prior, and I wanted to have it curly for this weekend. I'm going on a trip and I just wanted my hair to be popping. So this is what I do when I want my hair curly. I made a video like this before in the past where I was taking down my pipe cleaners, and then at the very end I showed a quick tutorial on how to actually install them. This specific video is going to be a full breakdown on how to do it. So I have here, I've counted 68 pipe cleaners, okay? And I'm not putting in all 68 pipe cleaners. I have a retightening in 3 weeks, so I don't need them to be as tightly curled. FYI, when you are putting curlers or pipe cleaners or flexi rods or any other medium to curl your locks, the smaller the section you do, the tighter the curls are going to be. The larger the section, the looser the curls. So I'm going to make it like a medium type of curl pattern going today. So I'm going to just start from the back, basically. I'm going to pull my hair up. Now, hopefully I don't have hair underneath my armpits. If I do, mind your business. And I've talked about it before, but the key to a good braid out or twist out with locks is to use a lot of mousse. I use the Lotta Body mousse, and this is just going to really help with keeping your curls in. Now, some people like to do it on wet hair. I can't do that because my hair will not fully dry. So let's go ahead and just get started. For those of you who are new here, I am a retired track and field athlete. And this is the first Olympic Games in the last 16 years, really, that I'm not training for. Now, in 2008, I did go to the trials, and I was young. I wasn't good enough. I didn't make the team. So I was training for the Olympics, but I didn't go to the Olympics. Now, in 2012, I did qualify. In 2016, I also did qualify, and I competed at both. And then in 2021, I also did qualify. Okay, so here's the key, guys. This is about the size of the section. Like I said, this is a medium size section, and I don't know how many pumps that was. 6 maybe? Lather it on, okay? Lather, lather, lather it on. And then you're gonna get a pipe cleaner. This is one pipe cleaner with a little bit of a hoop at the end. I'll show it to you on the next section. You're gonna go all the way down to the bottom and twist it right on it, okay? You see there how some of the Sisterlocks popped off? That is because those locks are slightly shorter. You grab them and roll them on. This part is most important here because you want to make sure that they really adhere to the pipe cleaner, and then just roll it up. And another one popped off, you do the same thing and roll it up. Now, one more thing here on the top, you don't want it to be too tight, okay? Because you want to be able to like sleep, and the tighter you do it, it's going to be pulling on your scalp. I've learned that the hard way, so I'm going to leave that actually pretty loose. I need to sleep tonight. So anyway, Olympics, right? This is my first time not training for an Olympics. And it's a little bit strange because track and field has been a part of my life, my whole life, and organized since middle school. So for me to be at a season in my life where I'm not actively competing, it has been an adjustment. Now, I did retire in 2022, let's be very clear. So it's not like this has been an overnight thing. Like it's been a journey. You know, I've started a new chapter and like had lots of life changes after the last Olympic Games. My husband and I moved from Michigan to Ohio, And then we got pregnant in Ohio. And then shortly thereafter, we moved to Kansas City. And then we had our son here in Kansas City. So needless to say, it has been a lot of life changes. So I think that's kind of helped to be like a welcome distraction from having to deal with no longer running track, if that makes sense. Like, now don't get me wrong. I definitely, when I was competing, always had a lot of stuff going on. So I've always been a pharmacist, and, you know, I've invested in real estate. You know, I had friends who weren't track athletes. So it definitely helped in that way that I've always had a very, I guess, worldly approach and knowing that life was bigger than track and field. So I knew that my transition out of sport wouldn't be as hard as it was for some athletes, because I was very intentional about cultivating a life outside of sport when I was competing. So pro tip, any current athletes who are competing, keep that in mind. Just because you are planning for your future, it does not mean that you are not fully invested in being an athlete. You can be two things at once. So keep that in mind. So I say all that to say, the transition to being a retired athlete wasn't that hard. And I have a whole blog where I talk a lot about that transition. And my whole platform here on YouTube and on social media in general is to kind of demystify what sports retirement looks like and to show people that life after sport can be very fulfilling. So it has been a pretty easy transition to be in an Olympic year, and I'm not actively training for it. But I'd be lying to say, if, you know, I watch some track meets sometimes and I'm just like, dang, man, that could be me out there, or dang, man, I remember how that used to be, or man, I miss that, or just reminiscing on old times. I think that is an indicator that you really enjoyed the sport that you did, and that should not be like the sole reason for you to come out of retirement or think you made the wrong decision to retire. First of all, one thing every athlete needs to remember is that you're gonna retire one way or like eventually. Everybody has to retire. The greatest athletes have to retire. You could not be an athlete for forever. So I think keeping that mindset it with you can just kind of be a little freeing when you actually do retire, to know I am in good company. I'm not alone in this. So that perspective definitely does help when you're on the other side of it. When you do miss it, you're like, Tiff, yeah, you missing it, but so is everybody else who committed so many years to competing. I think another thing that kind of makes it a little bit more miss it is that I have a little sister who is also a 100 hurdler. She does the same event that I did, and we were training partners, and she currently is training for her third Olympic Games. So, you know, seeing just literally 3 years ago, she and I were going to the same meets and, you know, doing all the things to prepare for the Olympic Games. And now it's like I'm in a very different stage in my life, 2 states later, a whole new baby later, and all these other things I have going on, and yet she's still going. So on one hand, it's like, oh, I can kind of live vicariously through her and, you know, see the work she's doing, and, you know, still have those very meaningful conversations about training and be able to sympathize and be a support system to her. But at the same time, it's like, dang, like when I'm supporting her, it's also kind of making me subconsciously remember all the good times we had on the track. So it's just a very interesting place to be. Now, I will preface that by saying I have had a very successful track career, so I'm not like upset about it, but it is sometimes just like, dang, I could be out there. For the girlies who are here just for the Sisterlock content, remember that in the front, this is the part that's going to be the most meaningful. So you want to make sure these sections are a little bit smaller and that you just are lathering it on with the mousse. Now, some people, they like to have their hair wet when they do these pipe cleaners. I do not recommend that. The mousse, especially when you are applying as much as I'm applying, that is what's going to help you with that hold. You don't need it to be wet. My hair is fully dry. In fact, today I went on a walk and I purposefully let my hair down so it could fully dry in order for me to be able to do this set. Today is Wednesday and today's Tuesday, excuse me. I'm probably gonna take these pipe cleaners out Thursday morning, Friday morning. I haven't decided exactly when I'm gonna take them out. I will show you the after of what it looks like when I take these down, because it's gonna look a tiny bit different than it usually does, because these sections are significantly larger than what I normally do. And like I said, that's on purpose. I'm trying to hurry up and get this done. It's late, I wanna go to bed. I'm messing up on this section. And if that happens, especially since this is kind of the front, just start over, it's okay. It is okay. The more you do these, I'm gonna section this off a little bit more. The more you do these, the quicker you're going to become and more proficient you're going to become at installing these pipe cleaners. So as you can see, you ravel the bottom on there very, very tightly. And as you go up, you get the locks that are a little bit shorter and add them to the section. That is very important to do, because I thought my husband was trying to come in here. I'm like, boy, don't be coming in here with no clothes on. That is very important to do, because you want to make sure every lock is incorporated into the pipe cleaner. And then once you get to the top, you just scrunch it like that. So back to the talk of the Olympics. I am 36, which is ancient by track and field standards. So yes, I may have been able to try to push it for one more Olympic Games, but it gets to a point where you just, as an athlete, at least for me, on my part, I can't speak for everybody else, my particular journey, you know when it's time to just close that chapter. And I was very clear in that, and I have no regrets and all of that good stuff. However, sometimes when I see some of the old heads, shout out to y'all know who you are, who are out here training still against the young girls, and they're killing it and holding it down for the old heads. Sometimes it does make me just be like, dang, what would it have looked like if I would have tried for one more Olympic Games? And it's funny, because even though my sister is 30, well, she'll be 30 in August, she's 29. She's my baby sister, but in the track world, little mama is a veteran, and she's getting up there in a good way. Like, that experience is amazing. So I include her in that conversation of old heads. And if she's watching this, sis, I love you. She might be like, don't be calling me old. I'm not old. Old is a good thing. First of all, it is a privilege to get older. With age comes wisdom. You shouldn't really have any regrets, and you should be proud of where you are in your life, even if things don't always kind of turn out the way that you wanted. So I say all that to say, shout out to the old heads, and y'all better embrace that title and not feel any type of way about commentators calling you old or anything like that. And when I see some of the older women and the mamas, because there's quite a few mommy hurdlers and just mommies in general who are doing the dang on thing on the track. And when I see them, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it crosses my mind like, dang, I could have been out there with them too, but every good thing must come to an end. Let's keep it real here. Again, I'm speaking for myself, okay? I'm not speaking for anybody else. You know how sometimes people are like, oh, we're doing it for the love of the sport. Yes, absolutely. You know, you have to obviously love the sport that you're doing in order for you to succeed and have longevity in it. However, my sister and I used to always have this conversation back when I was competing, that if I were to not have made any income from track and field, would I still have committed to doing it? Or would I have, retired a lot sooner and found something else to do? And my honest opinion to that, and again, I'm sure there are a lot of athletes who don't feel this way, because at the end of the day, everybody has their own views. But for me personally, no. If I'm not making, because it takes an incredible amount of time, effort, blood, sweat, tears, money, resources, all the things to be an athlete. So would I run for free? No, personally, I would not. Would I be comfortable losing money to chase a dream? Personally, no. And I hate saying that, because it might come off very much like privilege, because there are a lot of track athletes who are incredible. I'm talking like world-class, best in their field, like amazing athletes who are not making millions of dollars from, running. And I'm not speaking to their own particular journey. If anything, I think it just really speaks to their commitment and their love for the sport. So to me, that's even commendable. So I respect it. I'm just saying from a place of my personal journey and the fact that I have so many other interests in life, and now being on the other side of sports, seeing that there's so many other ways to make money, I personally would not be doing it if I weren't making an income for it. Because the way I look at it is, not only are you not making income, a lot of times to go to these meets, if you're not sponsored and things of that nature, you're spending money for flights, you're spending money for hotels. So you'll be losing money sometimes. On some meets, if you're not sponsored and you don't perform well at that meet, you could actually end up with a net loss. Like, you could lose money. So not only sometimes will you be losing money on a particular meet, you then, in my mind, it's like a double loss, because you're also spend that time that you could be dedicated to doing something else where you could be making money, you're dedicating the track. So it's almost like you're losing the money that you're spending from not generating an income from track and field. And then you're also losing money from the time that you spent, that you could be spending on doing something else. Does that make sense? So that was part of the reason why I don't look at it like, oh, should I still be out there running? Because let's be real, like at 36, a lot of these shoe companies would be more apt to, look, I have a piece of hair out that, as you can see, if that happens, I don't feel like redoing this whole thing. Just go ahead and twist it all on this thing and pray that it stays. That's just me being a little lazy because I'm trying to get done with this. A lot of these shoe companies, first of all, the track landscape has just shifted substantially from when I came out of college in 2009, where the shoe companies, the contracts and the amount of money you can make running track is just very different nowadays. So there are so many other ways to make money other than running track. And I'm seeing that, being that I am a pharmacist, I am in healthcare, people sometimes just don't realize that there's a lot of non-traditional ways to make money. Even as a content creator, when I was running track, I didn't even realize that content creation was even a business. And this is coming from somebody who used to use social media when I was an athlete. I would post, I would have some partnerships here or there, but I just didn't understand the landscape. I didn't understand the industry. And now I do. Now I see the potential. Any athlete out there, or just person in general, who maybe not, they might not love their 9-to-5, or they might not, they might not just be pleased with their financial situation, I would just encourage you to open your eyes and, start doing research and just be hungry for knowledge and be thirsty to find out what other opportunities there can be to make money. My eyes are always open and I'm always listening and just always trying to acquire knowledge and just learn from other people's journeys and their stories to see what they do, what they've done to be successful, and just picking their brains and being humble enough to know that you might not have all of the answers. It's okay to ask questions and to know your limitations and to tap into your community and your resources. And a lot of times when people are successful and they're, thriving in a certain industry, and you come to them genuinely and humbly and you ask for guidance or you ask questions, a lot of times people are willing to give the game out for free and just, help. And there's a lot of free resources out there if you're just open and willing to ask and learn. And that whole conversation of there's so many different ways to make money. I do think some athletes might be kind of hanging on or continuing on in the sport out of fear. Fear that, I've spent so much time as an athlete perfecting this craft and I don't have any other skills, or, oh my goodness, I don't know of any other ways to make money, or, oh my goodness, I'm not going to have any worth if I'm no longer an athlete. And just moving and making decisions based off of fear And I just want to encourage anybody out there who might be watching this video to know that when you operate out of fear, it's usually not a good outcome. Don't be fearful. If there's one thing that you take away from this video, if you're here for the Sisterlocks, then you're gonna take away that. But if you're here for other stuff, there's any other lesson you take out of this video, it is to not let fear guide your decisions. Whether you're an athlete, whether you are, I don't know, somebody looking to get into a new chapter of life, have faith, and research will take you a long way. Sometimes people operate out of fear because they feel that they don't know what's going to be on the other side. And I get that. I mean, it's true. But I would say pause and think about all of the times that you took a leap of faith, or that you had to start a new chapter, or that you had to begin a project that you had never done before, and you were successful in it, and pull confidence from that. You've done it before. You've done the hard work before. You have begun a new project. You have started a new thing. You have been through so many different phases through life where you come out on the other side and you're like, oh yeah, that wasn't even that bad. Or, oh man, that was super hard, but I learned from it. You became stronger from those situations. Now, as I am planning on going to the Olympics, the goal is to actually be in Paris, to obviously be a spectator. That kind of goes without saying. I ain't nobody training for no Olympics. To go and cheer my sister on. I will say it's just such a different vibe being on this other side of sport. So in the past, you don't think about things like travel and accommodation and, food and lodging and all of those things when you're traveling to the Olympics, because you're an athlete and your federation takes care of it for you. But when you're on the other side of it, I'm like, oh man, I have to actually think about a budget for this flight and factor in how many days. And now that I have kids, am I going to bring one or two of my kids? Is my husband coming? My mother-in-law? Will we bring a nanny? Like, just so many conversations that I just never had to think about going into an Olympic game. So that in and of itself is just a very interesting dynamic. I am looking forward to going to Paris and just experiencing the magic of an Olympic Games from the opposite side. When you're in that stadium and you're competing for 4 years for a 12-second race in front of thousands of people in the stands and even more at home. As you can imagine, that is very nerve-wracking. And obviously, I'm not going to be experiencing that, but I do think it's going to be really cool to experience the energy in the stadium, having a very unique perspective, right? So on one hand, it's like, okay, I'm here now as a spectator, as a support system for my sister, but I was an athlete, so I know exactly what she's going through. I can sympathize with how she feels. I understand the preparation, the mindset, everything that goes into training for an Olympic Games, but yet I'm not experiencing it firsthand. I'm experiencing it vicariously through my baby sister, who just so happens to also be my best friend and my former training partner. It's just a very interesting situation, and I do wonder how that's going to feel when I'm in those stands in that capacity. As it stands right now, I'm holding myself accountable, and you guys can be my accountability partners that we go into the Olympic Games. We got to go cheer on Booty, aka Cindy, my little sister. And by the way, if you guys are not following her YouTube, she is chronicling the whole road to the Olympics journey on her YouTube channel and her social media channels. And I will go ahead and place her handles for you guys to follow along on her journey to the Paris Olympic Games. Would you guys want me to do a come with me to the Paris Olympic Games vlog? I think that would actually be really cool, because not everybody attends an Olympics, and just kind of coming along with me on the journey from a former athlete's perspective. You know what? Let me know down in the comments if that's a video that you would watch. And if enough people say yeah, we'll make it happen because I think that would be pretty cool. If you are enjoying videos like this, I have created several other Sisterlock videos. I started a recent series where I kind of interview my sister Loctician, and she and I chat about different things. Part 1 is up, so go check that out if you're interested. She answers a lot of questions that people sometimes want to ask a sister Loctician, but might not have access to one, so I created a video. And then if you are here for like the life after sport conversation, I also have that content as well. Just go ahead and take a look at some of my old videos to see if you like what we got going on over here on this channel. And if you do, I would be honored to have you as part of the family. If not, that's okay too. I get it. My videos and nobody's videos are meant for everybody. I will come back at the end, and probably in a day and a half, but it'll be at the end of this video to show you what the after product looks like. And one of the things to keep in mind is that you do not want to do this on wet hair. You're gonna spend all this time putting these pipe cleaners on and then take them down, and your locks gonna still be wet and you're gonna feel awful. Take it from somebody who has experienced that firsthand. It is not a good feeling. And honestly, you guys, like say for instance, I had like a wedding I wanted to go to and I just found out about it the day before. I could sleep in these and take them out tomorrow because of the mousse, and they would be curled and it would be good enough. Now I've never done it where it's only been 12 hours. I've usually done at least a full day, but I'm just saying that's something to keep in mind that you can, maybe I can make a video like that, how it is keeping pipe cleaners in or how good the curls come out after only 12 hours. Because I know sometimes people assume the longer you keep the pipe cleaners in or the flexi rods or the braid out, the better the curls will be. And not necessarily, you'd be surprised. When I'm in the front, I do the section slightly smaller, so I am able to have those curls be a little bit tighter. But let me show you the back. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna get my mirror. This is a pro tip, you wanna make sure that you didn't leave any loose locks. You see, I see a lock right here that I would have missed and it would have pissed me off. So let me go ahead and just wrap that around one of them. I'm not about to take any of these down. Put a little bit of mousse on it, get one of these and wrap it around. That's it. I don't necessarily love how these pipe cleaners look when I'm leaving the house, but sometimes I will put it in like a fishnet, these hair nets, to just kind of keep them down because I'm going to be out and about the next 2 days. And honestly, sometimes I go out just like this because, hey, I got to do what I got to do. Let me do a quick count and let you know how many pipe cleaners this is in case you are wondering. All right, so this is the final product. Let me show you guys the back. And this is how it comes out with 40 pipe cleaners. I really love the volume, and actually this served as an experiment to me. I don't even need it to be 68 pipe cleaners to achieve that high volume look that I was going for. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe if you found any value from it. And I will catch you in the next video. We have a plane to catch. JJ, can you say bye-bye? He say bye-bye. Yeah. Peace.